everybody, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to Just Add Ginger and thank you very much for clicking on this video. Today I wanted to film another video in my One-Handed Ways series, and I know that for some of you this is the time of year where you will be setting off maybe to go to university for the first time or heading back to university. I wanted to film something that was going to be really helpful for those of you who may be doing that, being on your own and learning how to do new things for yourself. Today's video's theme is cooking. I love cooking. I don't do it as much as I probably should. I'm very lucky in the fact that boyfriend also loves to cook, and he will be the one normally to cook tea and things like that. He finds it really relaxing when he comes in from work. But I do enjoy cooking, and I found some things along the way, along my kind of journey of learning how to cook, things that are really helpful to me, and I wanted to share them with you today because learning how to cook and finding things that can help you to cook is something that can be really difficult, and I think unless you know certain products that are out there, or you know, different types of things that you can get to help you, then it can be really tricky to find new ways to, you know, chop things or peel things. Please bear in mind that I've had these things for quite a long time, and these are just examples of the kinds of things that are out there. The products may be completely different nowadays, or things may have progressed and they've got a lot better, but these are the things that help me in, you know, kind of the day-to-day aspects of cooking that I find the most useful. So that's why I'm sharing them with you, because hopefully you find them useful too. The first thing that I've got to show you is this little guy. It's quite difficult to see it completely because of the lighting in this room, but basically what it is a almost flat board. It's got slight raised bits underneath, but a flat chopping board with little ridges on the top part and down one side, and then a series of really sharp, which is why I'm not putting my hands anywhere near it, really sharp pointy bits. That's just the term I'm going to use for this video. There probably is some technical term that I don't know. Pointy bits at the bottom. This is probably the most helpful tool that I have in my kitchen to help me cook. If you're preparing things like vegetables or fruit, cheese, this board is going to really help you out. For a start, these points at the bottom hold quite a lot of weight. The most cumbersome thing that I've managed to peel using this is a butternut squash. Yes, a butternut squash. Probably not the most sensible thing to try and peel using a plastic board, but that's just an example of the weight that this little baby can take. The things I tend to use it mostly for are for when I'm chopping onions. I put the onion on top of that bit, kind of root side down, and I use it to help me chop it in half, or I will turn it on its side so that the roots are facing like that way and the top's that way, and I will chop the end off where the roots are and peel the onion with that, and once it's peeled, put it back on and then chop the onion itself. It holds most vegetables, it holds most fruits, it's really easy to clean afterwards, and you can use this part as a chopping board itself, so it's a multi-function tool. The top bit, I know that the top bit here, if you do need an extra bit of help, these two lips, you can actually put a piece of bread there, and it will hold it in place while you butter it or put cream cheese on it, whatever you have in your sandwich or on your toast. But that's what those bits are for. And this middle bit stays in place pretty much most of the time, so you have to be really careful when you're washing up that you don't, you know, put your finger down on this. I think this bit actually came with a cap to protect yourself from doing exactly that, you know, spiking yourself, but I don't actually know where mine is. But I will try my best to find a link to something similar like this, because if you're going off to university, or you know, you're moving in, or you just want something that's going to help you to cook. Yeah, just something that's going to help you to cook or learn how to do something new with your cooking skills, then that's the main thing I would say that you should investigate into adding to your kitchen collection of bits. Because whenever I cook, this is out on the worktop with me, so I get my use out of this. This is like the second or third one that I've had throughout my span of my 20s, so you can tell how much use I get out of this. Well, I'm not stumbling over my words. The next thing I have to show you is a chopping board. Looks pretty bog standard as chopping boards go. It's rectangular in shape and it's made of plastic, and as a chopping board, you use it to put things on and chop them. But the cool thing about this chopping board is the sides. They fold up into a little bit of an angular shape, so if you need to, you can use this board to chop your vegetables, chop, and add your veggies to the pan without the hassle of having to pick them up off the chopping board and put them in, which can be a pain in the arse because they fall, or roll, or it can just get into a big old mess. But with this, you can put the chopping board, you can put the chopped vegetables or fruit, whatever you're using, in the middle, and then with one hand just lift it up and give it a bit of a shake, and everything falls into the pan without falling off the chopping board. So this is something that definitely should be a part of your kitchen collection as well. I don't remember where I got this from. I think it might have been a present from Mama Ginger, but I will have a look online and see if I can find something similar. And it's pretty heavy as chopping boards go, so when you use it, it's not going to be sliding around underneath you, making it even more difficult to chop things. The last thing that I have to show you, which comes in particularly handy when I'm chopping things like herbs or nuts or things that are generally small, is this. This chopping board actually came in a set with a Mezzaluna, which is basically a curved knife with a handle on each end. And what is great about this chopping board is its weight. It is really heavy, and on the underside it has 4 really heavy feet which help to weigh the chopping board down. So if you're using something like fresh herbs or hazelnuts or Brazil nuts, anything that is really hard to chop anyway, nothing's gonna move when you're chopping them. The chopping board has a slight dip in the middle, which means that anything that you chop is going to sit nicely where you leave it, and it's not going to go anywhere. The Mezzaluna device in itself, you do need to get a little bit used to using it with one handle, but if you get into practice of using this kind of rocking motion as you're chopping, then chopping herbs and things like that is ridiculously easy. I've also, if you want to see it, I can film it, so let me know in the comments. I've learned how to crack eggs with one hand. I'm sure it's not a crazy thing to learn. There are loads, chefs do it all the time, you see it on TV, but that's also a really good thing to have in your cooking arsenal, because it means you're not limited to not being able to make cakes or use eggs in things, and it just lets you reclaim that little bit of independence, because a lot of things that you do cook, especially when it comes to sweets, involve eggs. When it comes to things like knives, I would say stick to the smaller ones, which are always more manageable. The big knives are really scary, and if you're needing a big knife, it's usually because you're chopping something big, and for me, when it comes to chopping something big, I do have to work up the courage and ask for help, because at the end of the day, you've got to think of your safety and you don't want to end up hurting yourself being stubborn, which I have done. The butternut squash is a prime example. That was stupid. Really, I could have hurt myself, but I didn't realise what a struggle it would be. The big things, I do tend to ask for help and work within my means and use the smaller knives, because big knives in themselves are just scary things to have in the kitchen. The last piece of advice that I can give you is to persevere. Some of the things that you are going to try may be quite difficult. Getting used to this was difficult at first for me, just because I didn't know the right way to have things, and sometimes the middle bit, if the object that I was trying to chop or peel was too heavy, it would come off, which would be frustrating in itself. But there, you know, this is really handy, and if you find the right way to use it for you, it will become like your best friend when it comes to cooking and baking and everything else that you like do in the kitchen to help prepare food. There are things out there, if there are bits and pieces that you are finding difficult to chop or prepare. Pre-made butternut squash that you put in the freezer, the cubes. I learnt my mistake. I am never going near a butternut squash to peel it again. It was just a disaster. It took like an hour, so I always opt for those. You can get chopped diced onions. I have those in the freezer all the time in case I'm cooking and I'm too tired to, you know, chop things, because it is a bit of an effort trying to peel an onion on this. It does take a little bit of patience, and sometimes I don't have that. So chopped onions, chopped peppers always live in my freezer just in case, so make sure you pick up some of those and just have them to hand for times when you've come in home from work or uni or school or whatever you've been doing in the day. You don't want to spend hours preparing vegetables, you just want to throw it all in the pan and cook it. They're really handy. I've also found that you can get sometimes frozen cubes of garlic or ginger or different herbs that you can throw into frying pans? Saucepans? Woks? All the implements that you use to cook things in. You can throw them into there and it, you know, melts down and cooks itself. If you don't have a Mezzaluna and a curved chopping board, or you, like with the butternut squash and the diced onions and peppers, you just don't want to go through the hassle of chopping things if you're tired. If you're not tired, always do the manual way, because you get so much out. It sounds ridiculous, but I get so much out of peeling a potato or chopping an onion or deseeding a pepper. Things that if you'd have said to me 10 plus years ago, can you do this? I probably would have said, no, I need help. I remember in food tech in school, I always had to have help doing things, but now I can say, no thanks, don't need your help today. I've got my good friends here. They're gonna help me. I can cook myself. You go and sit down and relax. And that in itself is just amazing. I don't know where I would be without the things that I've shown you, and that's why I'm sharing them with you today, because claiming that little bit of independence is just so gratifying, and the more people I can share it with and you get the same feeling as well, it's just amazing. So that was my one-handed ways cooking tips video. If you have any other questions or want any advice on other things that I use or cooking tips, or if you have any suggestions for further one-handed ways videos, please leave them in the comments. Please reach out to me and I will try and help you as much as possible. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, especially if you found it helpful or you know somebody who will like it and get sharing, pass it round. And for more videos like this one, hit the subscribe button and I will do my best to continue the One-Handed Way series and include lots of other things that I hope you find helpful. Thank you so much for watching this video and I will catch up with you later. Bye!